So for me, manhood means to me responsibility, integrity, and service. For me, I believe that it's walking in the purpose that God has uh, placed on me in this life, honoring the people who He has entrusted me with. So, that would be my wife, my two children, my grandson, and my community as a whole, particularly young men. So I believe, manhood is not about perfection, uh, but it is about accountability, growth, and leading with love.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of King Crush Thursday, the series where we highlight and uplift black men because, frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and I'm super excited about this brother today. Let's see, he is a hard-working man with a strong work ethic who, through his being mentored and mentoring others has allowed him to progress through his career to where he is now, where he manages a center and a major corporation. His name is Mr. Rob Roberson. Hi, Rob. For being here. I am so glad that you are here because your presence here puts another wedge in the very myopic window of how black men are seen in our society, especially through the media. We know that we see four, five, I'll give it, stereotypes of
Mhm.
black men in the media. They're mostly negative. And we also know that while they may not all be incorrect, they are certainly incomplete, because there are more brothers out there. There are many more who are holding it down, doing all the right things than the few that we see in the media. And ultimately, we want a young king who may or may not have positive black male role models to come to this repository, see the same 6 questions answered by well over 200 amazing, successful black men, and hopefully find guidance there. And then for the rest of us who are neither male or even black, for us to be able to come to this repository and also have our minds expanded. And so I'm so glad that you're here today, and I want to get started with the first question, which
Okay.
is, what does manhood mean to you?
Okay. So for me, manhood means to me responsibility, integrity, and service. For me, I believe that it's walking in the purpose that God has uh, placed on me in this life, honoring the people who He has entrusted me with. So, that would be my wife, my two children, my grandson, and my community as a whole, particularly young men. So I believe, manhood is not about perfection, uh, but it is about accountability, growth, and leading with love. So that's how I would answer that first question.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Rob, who and or what is important to you?
First, I would say, but God, because for me, he's the source of my strength and my direction, my identity. So I always put Him first, and then of course it would be my wife, because she's my partner. She's my balance, direction, and her identity. Third would be my family. Uh, because they're my legacy, and they're a blessing to me. Uh, and then I would say my community, because I believe in togetherness. I believe in mentorship. Uh, my mentors, you know, I believe that that's important. One of the reasons why I'm here is because of mentorship. I grew up in North Philadelphia. Had two, good parents. Father died and at a young age. My father passed when I was 16 years old. Um, and so that was a major trajectory in my life. Things changed, and if it wasn't for a uh, a good friend of mine, his brother, he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And he said, "You're better than what you're displaying," and he taught me some things, and he brought me into research that I knew nothing about. Started from, entry level, and he walked alongside me, mentored me. We are still close to this day. We still speak every day. He's like a bonus big brother to me. He saved my life. And what I do tell people is, I call it borrowed faith, because he allowed me to borrow his faith until I could find my own. And so I always tell people, if you can lend out your faith, the return you will get back will be much more than you put out. And so, that's important to me. The lessons and the strength of my parents, I can't speak without, bringing them up, because they shaped my foundation, for me to stand on. So those are the things that are important to me.
That's really wonderful. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. So, Rob, how do you want us to see you?
Oh wow. So you know what? Once again, a man of faith, a character and purpose. Someone who loves deeply. I'm humble. Uh, I stand firmly on my values. My faith, I try to let it show up naturally, authentically. When God moves me, not just in words but by my actions. Uh, I'm a builder, a protector, a listener. And also a servant. I believe we should all have a sense of service within us. So that's how I would like, people to see me.
Mm, that's great. That's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much. So, question 4 is, what is your epic dream?
Mm. So I would say my epic dream is to have a legacy outside of me. To build something, whether it's a program, a movement, or a mindset, to empower young Black men, particularly, to help strengthen families and uplift communities. I think that would be an epic dream for me, to create a space for young men, uh, for guidance, to support them. Uh, I just believe we have to pay it forward. So to leave something that's greater than myself would be epic for me, because so much has been done for me. So I think it's important that you leave something that's bigger than yourself, and that's not about you, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, it does. And that's great. Excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so
Yep.
much. So you've been answering question 5 all along implicitly, but I'm going to ask you
Mhm.
explicitly, Mr. Rob
Yep.
Roberson,
Yep.
who are you?
Uh, so I think I'm a Black man, shaped by love and strength and by my own personal struggles. And I believe I'm guided by purpose. And my parents, they were a large part of who I am. I believe that uh, your character is just as important as your talent. And it carries just as much weight as your talent, because the fact of the matter, Val, is um, your talent to get you to a place where your character won't keep you. And so that's very important to me, that people see me as a person of good character, um, that I'm a servant, I'm a mentor, um, that I want to do, good for others. And I think it's very important. It's about sacrifice. I want people to see, and I want to show the example of sacrifice, because I think it's important that you be willing to sacrifice sometimes, not just for yourself, but for others. And also understanding there are going to be things that you want for yourself that you're going to have to sacrifice for, and I try to show that example with the team that I manage at work, the young men that I mentor at the church, young men that I just encounter, that I want to, lead by example. Um, and I think that's important because at the end of the day, we all want some things, whether it's for ourselves or for our community, but anything worth having, and this, is going to require some type of sacrifice. Because at the end of the day, if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes a sacrifice. And that's very important, So I try to lead by those examples. And even being a husband and a father and a grandfather. Um, what that looks like, when you try to do it right, and you're still gonna make mistakes, but when you try to do it right, what does that look like? And I think that's important. So that's who I am.
That is wonderful. Awesome. Thank you. You were spitting some bars there. That was awesome. Excellent.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Definitely.
So here we are, already at question 6, which is there
Mhm.
anything that I should have asked you that I didn't, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? In other words, what did I miss?
Let's say you were very thorough. But what I would well, here's what I would like to ask. And just seeing all the work that you've been doing, and you speaking around how long you've been doing this. What legacy would you like to leave?
You mean in general or just about
Just
this?
I think maybe, well, I'll put it like this. I would say around this, like what would you like to leave around this that you're doing and how you're serving brothers?
This is such a great question. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
What I would like to leave is for our society writ large to view brothers in a more accurate and expanded light, and that people would less frequently be brushed with a stereotype, and not actually see the human that's behind that that model, that stereotype. And so ultimately, particularly for young kings who may or may not have um, black male role models in their lives. I mean, the reality is a lot of us have really great families and stable families, and yet it's not just our families, it's also the community around us that help to shape us. And so, for those young men who may not have anyone up close and personal, I want them to have a whole group of uncles, if you will,
Yeah. Yeah.
brothers, granddads, dads, to be able to help guide them. For a young king to come in and hear answers to questions that may have been in the back of their mind, but no one around them would say it in that way, and have them explore then later on. It's one of the reasons why I don't ask you about your work, because your work will change, will come and go and change and
Mhm.
evolve. But your
Yeah.
character, you nailed it. Your character is really what's most important. So I want the young men to see all of these amazing men of character and integrity, and hopefully use those as exemplars for them to then follow after, to make an impact in their community. And then again, for the rest of us to be able to just celebrate, to celebrate our community without um, competition, without anything other than saying, hey, I'm a rose. I'm a rose and it's amazing. I'm a as a standalone as a rose. But when I see you, calla lily coming up, I see you, tiger lily, I see you,
Yeah.
sunflower. We all come together and we all blossom better together as a bouquet, not competing who's better.
Yeah.
but that how can we share and uplift each other. That is my ultimate goal for this, that our community becomes stronger, starting with the Black men that we are highlighting and those who get to see it.
Oh wow. Thank you so much, just for your passion. I believe it's important. I believe that connection, with one another, is important, and how we model that. So I really appreciate, you loving on the brothers like that, and giving us an opportunity and the space to kind of speak from the heart, and the safe space to even feel vulnerable, in the moment of really just talking about, uh, uh, how we feel, and what we would like to see out of our communities, and even for myself. So I thank you, so very much for the opportunity, and I support you. And if there's anything that I can ever do to come alongside your mission or whatever you may be doing, please don't hesitate to, reach out. I'd be more than honored to help and partner in any way. So thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you, my king. I'm so grateful and I honor you, my king. I pray that your epic dream comes true sooner rather than later. And I just really appreciate, what you've said today. I appreciate your place in the world and how you've placed an importance on both learning and teaching, right? Because
Yep.
we should always be learning, I think, and always teaching at every
Yes.
moment. We're both and at the same time, right?
Yep.
And so I'm very grateful for you. And so thank you. And
Thank you.
this is not about me, so you turned it around, turned that
No.
question around for me, but on me. So I wasn't prepared for that, but I appreciate the opportunity to say why I am doing this. It is really important. I said to you before we started filming, as a daughter, as a sister, as an
Yes.
auntie, as a friend, as a neighbor, as a coworker, as a human being in this world. When I think about the people in my life, particularly, it started with thinking about my nephews, each of whom I adore, and see each of them for their brilliance. And my heart ached thinking that other people would see them just as a body, as
Mm.
just as reduced to something other than their humanity. And so that's one of the things that really drives me, that I want all of our brothers to be seen for all of their, as Dr. King says, scintillating beauty,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
very, very keen on that. And so I'm so grateful. So thank you so
Mhm.
much. And I hope you stay right there, because I want to thank the audience and I hope that you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And if there's a positive and successful Black man in your life who you want to see highlighted in this forum or hear from in this forum, please click the link below, or fill out or in my bio, fill out the nomination form, and we'll take it from there. That is exactly how we met Mr. Rob Roberson today. And so I'm so grateful for the person who recommended him. And I always say, and I said it a little bit just a couple minutes ago, I really don't care what the brother does for a living, because it's not always an indicator of his power, frankly, and his success. Success, to me, is, as long as he is not doing what he's doing for a living, is not illegal. So it's legal and it's not hurting anybody. I don't really care. But what I do care about is the content of his character and the impact that he is making on the people around him, starting with the nuclear family and spreading out to the rest of us. Those are the brothers that we really want to have in this repository also, and in this story, these stories, because we all need to hear from those brothers, and I'm so grateful. So please stay tuned for yet another king next week. And in the meantime, please remember to spread love and have a great day. Thanks so much. And Rob, thank you so much. That
Thank
was
you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you so much.
absolutely. Thank
Right.
you.